So on to Norway. Norway with just one rider qualifying through to the Grand Prix Special. And this is Isabel Freese. Isabel with total hope. By Totilas out of Isabel Wertz, World Cup winner, European champion via gold by embryo transfer. Isabel, who has worked now for nearly 10 years here in Germany with Paul Schockermöller, was 16th in the Grand Prix on a 74.0%.
A good start, but late 2x for that first halt. They completed such a lovely Grand Prix. Such harmony between the two, great expression. This horse so well bred. And look at that lift and reach through the half pass. Could have been slightly more parallel. Good activity in the passage. Keeping a good frame there. Nice pushing power. Could just have extended the frame slightly in the extended trot. Really nice, smooth transitions. Good. I was just about to say good there in the rhythm. And then lost a bit of balance in the passage. There in the half pass to the right, again could have been slightly more through and a bit more supple, but some enormous reach. He needs to be careful that he doesn't get a bit short and tight in the neck, but the steps and the quality of the steps were absolutely gorgeous.
So this pair for them, it's the first championship Grand Prix Special, where they've been scoring 73 at Wiesbaden at the Pfingstturnier this spring and 75 recently at Ermelo in the three-star that I think ran alongside the World Young Horse Championships.
It did. Slightly uneven steps behind there in the passage. The left hind not stepping quite as much under as the right. Great relaxation here in the walk and taking such a lovely contact down and out. Super relaxation, but keeping that march. Good ground cover and 8s coming through. An 8.5 as well. Now needs to really collect the walk. Nice. Some advancing there in the Piaffe, but really, really good steps. You know, that's the risk that you have to take. Do you ask for it more on the spot, risk the activity, or do you have it a little bit traveling, but keep the activity and the lift? Asking for more steps on the spot in that second Piaffe. Good here in the passage. Needs to check the regularity behind, and unfortunately not direct up into canter. Not quite on her age. She asked for it and then he just got long in the trot.
We're seeing that a couple of times, Tash, but I mean, that's just due to the way the test is written and the exercise you have to answer. It's not any external aspect of our arena or competition space here.
No, absolutely not. It's just a bit of a miscommunication. The horses in the Grand Prix do the transition on the long side. And of course, after doing 2 Piaffes on that same line, the horses might be predicting that they will be doing a third piaffe, and then it's like, oh no, okay, canter instead.
Well, we talked about how often they ride the special, but have you spoken to a lot of Grand Prix riders about how often they practice the special? Because, you know, thinking to a show jumping terms, if you're going to show the horse any jump, you show it the first one, because you're definitely going to jump it, or attempt to jump it. In the same, I would imagine, with the Grand Prix, you're definitely going to ride the Grand Prix.
Absolutely, especially going into a championship, you know that it's the second test, whereas obviously, as you said before, John, you don't always do it at a CDI. And you, just missing the last changes in the ones there, a real shame. But yeah, you would like to think that these riders are practicing the test at home. You know, it's so important, and it is funny that that you say about practicing the test at home. It does very much depend on the horses, and what you find a lot of the time is some of the horses can anticipate a lot of the movements, and so I found in the past with the horses that do that, just breaking down the test and riding elements of the test in succession. So, you know, you might ride this line, for example, but then followed by something else, just to mix it up so that in the test the horses aren't anticipating. Need some more bend through the canter pirouettes, but really lovely control. Nice jump in the canter. Some eights flooding through for this canter work. You know, test practice is so important. And sometimes when you're riding it in the arena, as opposed to riding it from home, you can ask some more questions and put in a few more challenges for the horses.
This might still go into the lead, but it's not quite the 75 where Isabel was sitting for quite a long time with Total Hope.
Yeah, that mistake in the ones would have cost them a lot of marks, and the transition up into canter as well, sitting on 6, so 2 very expensive mistakes. These steps in the passage are very good, and then just at times loses the regularity.
So the sole Norwegian rider to make it through to the Grand Prix Special might be about to go into the lead. Isabel Freese and Total Hope. And if she can replicate her ranked 16th position from the Grand Prix, the Norwegian rider will go all the way through to the freestyle finale here at Riesenbeck on Sunday.
Really super test. I would imagine that she'd be thrilled with that. Her personal best 75.681. Those 2 mistakes, I think, might hold her back from getting a PB today. Just that miscommunication up into canter and at the end of this line of ones, and they started, as you can see there, so nicely, but as the line goes on, the pole just drops, and there is the mistake at the end. If she could just keep him sitting a bit more behind. These canter pirouettes, though, the lovely control, keeping that jump in the canter, very well ridden, and then nicely straight into the one-time changes on the center line. Some really nice air time in the passage today as well. Just at times lost a bit of the regularity.
Into 74% territory, 74.240. Isabel Freese and Total Hope are the new leaders of the Grand Prix Special, and potentially that is a score that should carry them right through.